We will start the session in the next 2 minutes. A very good afternoon to all of you. So welcome back in today's session of Advanced Business Communication. So in the last session, we have discussed about the different types of feedback and the process of feedback. That's what we have discussed in the last session. Any doubts related to the process of feedback, process of business communication, or the types of business communication? Types of business communication? You can ask. Otherwise, we will move forward to the next topic. Okay. You know, we all have been listening that business communication or communication plays a very important role whenever we are working in the organization, or if we talk about any kind of business related projects. So everywhere, business, it's business or entrepreneurship or client based, service based, whatever it is, communication is an internal part of all those things, right? So today we will be talking about the importance of business communication. But before that, we will talk about some of the tips which you can use for improving the communication process. The process looks to be very simple. That what we have to do, we just have to pass the message, we have to share our message. But any small mistake, any wrong communication will give the wrong feedback, will give the wrong results of that communication. So when we are communicating, we need to follow the proper process which says there should be sender along with a proper idea, and the idea to whom he is sharing, the receiver, he or she also should be interested in that message. For example, I am sending a proposal of, okay, I am asking a quotation for raw material to a person who is not into raw material. He is not the manufacturer of raw material. So will it be worth it? No, I'm not going to get the proper feedback because the person to whom I'm sharing the information is not right. So same, there are some tips for improving the communication process. The first tip says simplify your message. We have been listening that always make your message simple. Simple as in the language which is easily understandable by each and every person. The message which is not having any kind of fancy words. In today's time, we are so fond of using fancy words that we make a message very complicated, not in its meaning, but the way we are presenting. So make sure, in order to ensure that your message is properly understood, you should keep it simple. You should keep your language simple and the language which is clearly understood. That is the first thing. If you're using that, so at least there are going to be less chances of any miscommunication. Second is know your audience. Now, knowing your audience is very important when we are communicating, when we are presenting a speech, when we are addressing a large gathering, when we are going for group discussions. Everywhere, the audience play a very important role. You need to know your audience so that a healthy discussion, a healthy output, a healthy feedback is received from them. So it's also important to consider the audience that will receive your message, as well as their need and interest also. Same way, what I told you, if I am sharing my message of getting quotation from a person who is not into manufacturing, so that message is of no use. The message is not of the interest of the receiver. Same way, whenever you are communicating, you should know your audience. You should know their comfort level, like which in terms of language, which language is more comfortable for them, which language is either easily understandable by them, or what are their area of interest and their need. These all you should know before you start the communication process. Third is be a good listener. Now, at times what happens, we keep on saying, we keep on saying, we complete our message and we simply leave. We don't allow the receiver to speak up, to clarify their doubt. All those things we are not allowing to the receiver. So hence, if the receiver is having any kind of doubt, he or she may not be able to clarify those things. And if you think that I was very much clear, but that was as per your understanding, you think that while you were communicating, you have specified, clarified each and everything. But there can be chances that the other person might not have understood anything, or the other person want clarification for few points. So in that case, you should be a good listener. As a communicator, when you are acting as a communicator, it is very important to actively listen to what those around you are saying. This will ensure that you are sending the right message. If whenever we are listening, at times we get some positive feedback, we do get negative feedback. So this will help us to know that where we exactly stand. Right? It will help us to ensure that yes, our message is being delivered properly. They have understood our message. So always be a good listener. This is one of the quality of leader, as well as the person who is a good speaker. Because we all know that speaking is not just about saying words. It is also about listening to what others are saying. Fourth is ask questions. It is important to ask good and relevant questions to keep the communication flowing. Make sure your questions are insightful and are such which are making the audience engage in the topic. Right. So questions are always good. There will be less scopes of any kind of misunderstanding, any incomplete information from your end. Definitely you have provided them with the complete information, but there might be chances that from their perspective some important information is missing. So when the person asks the question, there are two benefits. First thing, the sender will be sure that yes, he or she is listening to him properly. And second is going to be that there is less scope of any miscommunication, misunderstanding, and all the doubts are cleared at that same point only. Next point says, take the time to respond. As soon as you listen to something, it's not necessary that you need to react immediately at the same point of time. Take time to understand, to think about that topic, to think about the receiver sender's message, and then respond. So when communicating is it's important, then it's also important to consider how you respond back, how you might reply to the person to ensure that you have understood the message completely, and to make them to help them knowing what exactly you have understood. So when you are responding, they will get the clear picture whether you have understood the message or not. Next point says, consider your body language. Body language is something which shows you as a very confident person, and it is something which shows you as a nervous person. It's going to show you as a courageous person. It's going to show you as a very hesitant person. It is something which is going to show you as an extrovert person or as an introvert person. So whatever we are communicating, it is said that 55 up to 55% of the message which you are communicating is understood by the use of body language. The words are not that effective that the body language is. So whenever we are speaking, people observe our body language. They make assumptions from our body language. So it is always said that what you are speaking and what your body is showing, both the things should match. Your gestures, your posture, your speaking words, all these things should match. And along with that, your eye contact. There are people who rarely look towards the person to whom they are talking. This is not a good sign of being a good speaker. Good speaker is one who can maintain proper eye contact with all the person, not just with one person. Yeah, his eye may go on one person from where he is getting confidence, but still he needs to take care that he is maintaining eye contact with each and every person to whom he is addressing. So consider your body language, work on your body language, because if you are communicating to the medium, through this medium, it's important to be mindful of your body language. Also, be aware of the body language of the person you are communicating. For example, if you are seeing, if you're addressing 10 different people, out of them 5 are nodding their head, this way, they're doing something, they're using some gesture. This will make you understand that yes, these persons are listening to me. But when there is no gesture shown, where there is no body language used, you will simply feel that I don't know whether they are listening, whether they are attending during the session or not. The sign which says the negative body language, the negative the that the person is not attentive is a person playing with the hand, playing with the fingers, playing with hairs. So these are the signs which shows that these are the body language which shows that the person is not attentive. He or she is or may not be interested in what you are speaking. So if you come across some situation, either change your way of presentation or try to grab their attention. 7 point says maintain eye contact. As I told you in body language also, maintaining eye contact is very important. It's important to make contact with the person or group you are communicating with. It's also important that whenever you are speaking to someone, you are looking into their eyes at least for a while speaking. So maintain proper eye contact. Next is clarify your message if needed. So if you think, if the recipient of your message is unclear about anything, is unclear about what you are trying to say, it's important to clarify your message. At the same time, this will help you and the recipient for the better understanding of your message. So in case if the recipient of the message, the receiver of the message is not sure about what was actually being communicated, what was exactly being communicated, so it is always better to clarify the message and then move forward. So these are the few important tips which you can use to improve your communication process. Now we are going to discuss about the importance of business communication. Why it is important. First, basis of planning. Whenever we are planning, what we are doing? Are we talking to each other? Are we taking the suggestions? Are we discussing the things? Are we sharing our plan? Are we sharing our thoughts? Are we taking the decision? What are we doing? Are we doing all these things? And if the answer is yes, that yes, we are doing all these things, that means Communication is important for planning purpose. Now, first thing says plan should be well designed and communicated for their implementation and organizational success. Now, whatever plans we are making, if we are not communicating to them, will it be of any use? Your hard work, your creativity, everything will be there only, right? You won't be able to use anything if you are not sharing that, if your work is not getting done. So you have a very good plan, and if you start working on that plan, so in next 1 year your company is going to earn double profit, right? But when just by putting the plan on the paper the company will earn double profit? Will it earn double profit just putting the plan on the paper?
No, ma'am, we have to execute it in a rightful way.
Yeah, so execution means how you're going to execute it. How we are going to execute it. See how you are going to execute it. Through the medium of communication. Yes, we'll be
Yes, ma'am.
using. Yes, we will be using communication to execute that plan, to tell that plan, to share that plan within the employees, within the team, within the organization. So here, for planning, we need to communicate it. Second, an effective system of communication helps in obtaining this information. If the communication system is effective, now effective communication system means the process is clear, the information is clear, it is having a proper and the clear instructions, everything is written in very specific, clear, concise, correct form, then it will help us to obtain the right information. So if we will obtain the right information, like what we have to do, how we have to do, then the productivity will definitely increase. No, when you have a clear picture of where you want to, where the organization want to go after 1 year, what organization wants to achieve, you will have a clear picture of that. Third point says implementing the plans requires communication. That's what I told. You have made the plan on paper, but that paper plan is not of any use until and unless you have not executed that plan. And if you want to implement that plan, if you want to bring that plan into action, you will have to communicate with each other, right? You will have to talk to each other. You will have to share your idea with others. You will have to present your plan, explain the method, explain the final goal, final objective of what we are going to achieve once we finish off this plan, once we achieve this plan. So for this, you need to communicate. And communication is the basic of planning. In the initial stage, when you're planning, that time also communication plays a very important role. How? Planning cannot be done with just one person, right? He might need some data from marketing department, some data from sales department, some data from finance department, some data from manufacturing department, some data from PR department. He might need all these data. And for collecting all these data, what he have to do? He will have to talk to them. He will have to communicate with them. He'll have, then only he can gather the information. So that's why we say that communication is the basic of planning. Second, motivation to work. Now, how communication gives motivation for working? How? Like we are motivation just means that we are talking to each other. So how it is acting as a how communication is helping? It is because it's important for motivating. Like as we know that motivating just means giving recognitions, giving rewards. For that we don't need to communicate. Then why motivation to work? Motivation to work as in if the employer say that yes we have reached here and soon we will be reaching this way, it's because of you that we have run such a good profit. It's because of the teamwork that our company is progressing, our company is growing. You all know that the company has increased its profit in last 2 months up to by 30%. All these things are going to motivate your workers, motivate you towards work, and all these things, how you're going to share? With communication. The first point says employees are motivated to work if their needs are satisfied. So employees are motivated, they want to work, they enjoy their work, they love giving their best of productivity, 100% of productivity only when they are satisfied with the company. Second, communication helps managers know needs of their employment. So it is helping the managers to know the need of the employees. How they are going to know the need of the employees? By talking to them, by communicating with them, by letting them, allowing them to share their ideas, share their problems, share their grievance, share their conflicts. So this is how it is going to help them. It is going to help the managers to know what are their needs. What do the employees want from the organization? It is only possible because of communication. And the last point says communication motivates and inspire them to develop positive attitude towards the work. So it is motivating you, it is inspiring you to have a positive attitude towards the work environment. It is changing, it is throwing all the negative attitude, negative thinking from your mind. It is just filling your head, filling your mind with the positive things, positive attitude, and positive mindset. So this is how you are going to motivate the workers by use of communication. Wow, job satisfaction. These are the people who just simply love going on job. You know, it's not a 9 to 5 job for them. For them, it is something which makes them happy. For them, it is something which energizes them. For them, it is something which just attracts them towards it. So this is job satisfaction. Now, how communication is important over here is exchange of information develops trust, confidence, and faith among managers and subordinates. So whenever you are exchanging the information, whenever you are sharing the information among managers or subordinates, between manager and subordinate, so it is going to develop the confidence, trust, and faith amongst them. How it is going to develop is you will be feeling that yes, we are the part of the organization and the organization is valuing us. How it is valuing us? By sharing the information about the company, growth of the company, future vision, future objective, mission of the company. So this is how you are going to develop a surrounding atmosphere of confidence, faith, and trust by communicating. How by communicating? You're communicating in the way of exchanging the information. Second, they understand their job position better and thus perform better. So those satisfied employees, you know, they are going to understand how important the job is and how better you need to perform. They will understand their position also, that this is my position, and as per this position I have to finish off this task, I have to perform this task and in the better way. And the last point says people are committed to organizational objective which promotes job satisfaction. So people are fully committed to that. People just want, they are happy with the culture, with the atmosphere, with the team, with the group of peers they are working. They are happy with that. And they are happy they are committed to the organizational objective, and when they are happy with people they promote organizational objective, so ultimately they promote job satisfaction also. And all these things are possible because of communication only. Next, commitment to organizational objective. What is commitment? What is commitment?
To how to do something, to complete something.
how to do something, how to complete something. Okay. It's how, or it's like,
How VOW.
say again,
Mm, It's VOW.
VOW. Okay. So it is something like when we are promising something, when we are saying that we are going to perform this thing and we are staying on that, we are working to achieve that thing. That is commitment. So it is commitment to organizational objective. Now, when we are entering to the organization, when we are working in the organization, so we are somewhere committed with the organizational goals, right? That yes, we are going to achieve those things. We have some commitments. Now, the commitments as in we will be finishing off our tasks within the deadline, or will be coming up with something new and creative thing which is going to benefit the organization. So somehow you are just committed to the organizational objective, and the organizational objective is to grow, to double the profit, or to at least increase the profit by 1.5%. So that means you are somewhere working to achieve those organizational goals. So that is showing commitment. And how you can show commitment? That is, first is effective system of communication, understand employees' need. Now for this, for committed people, you need to have a committed organization, a committed team leader also. So if the system of communication, if the flow of communication in the organization is effective, then you will understand the need of the employees. And if you understand the need of the employees, you will give them what they actually want, so that you can make them work in the direction, you can motivate them in the direction to achieve the organizational goal and to be committed with that. So first is effective system communication, understand employees need. You've understood employees need. Now if you have understood employees need, what we are going to do, we are going to appraise their performance and provide them regular feedback. If they are doing something really very good which is benefiting the organization, so we are going to appraise their performance. We are going to tell them, yes, wow, you did a great job. Or we are going to say that this is the best employee of the week, this is the best employee of the day. This person has done something, has come up with something really creative which has benefited the organization. So in any one way, you are simply appraising the performance. And then once the performance is appraised, you are also providing feedback to the person who are unable to meet the deadlines, or who are unable to work effectively. So for them, you will be providing them the feedback that these are the areas in which you are supposed to work, these are the areas in which you have to improve. So you provide regular feedback and you appraise their best performance. And the last thing is, then the employee also work with commitment towards organizational objective. Now, if you are appraising them, if you are understanding their need, if you're providing them with the regular feedback, then yes, definitely the employees will also work with the committee and commitment and work towards the organizational goal. They will make it their priority that yes, the organization is thinking about me, the organization is thinking about us, so I or we all are going to think about the organizational objective also, and we will be committed to achieve those organizational objectives. Here again, communication play a very important role. Now, after this, the fifth point says coordination. Can we coordinate without communicating? Can we coordinate silently? Yes, you can coordinate using your gestures, but that is not going to work every time. So you need a combination of bringing coordination. That is, it can be verbally, it can be by use of words, or it can be by showing your actions, by showing your gestures. So under coordination, the first point says communication coordinates organizational resources. Now, how it is coordinating organizational resources is it check on how many resources are available, how we are going to allocate the resources, if required, what all the resources we need to hire. So resources can be human resources, material requirement, any other resource. So communication coordinates organizational resources. It has a coordination with them. Second is it matches individual goal with organizational goal and internal environment with external environment. When our old goals, when our personal goals are matched with the organizational goal, so we work with more efficiency, because if we are going to achieve organizational goal, our personal goals will also be achieved, and that's what we want. So it is going to match the individual goal, it is going to coordinate your individual goal, it is going to mix your individual goal with the organizational goal, or your internal environment with the external environment, so that you can improve your performance. And the last part says communication is an active contributor to coordination. Yes, you coordinate by speaking, you coordinate by communicating. If you are quiet, if you are silent, you cannot coordinate with everyone. Right? For everyone, it is not easy to understand the body language, their gestures. Words, spoken words are very important when it comes to coordination also. Any doubts related to these five importance? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No.
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
except this. What do you think can be other important things of business communication? That's why business communication is important. It is going to bring coordination. It is going to make employees committed towards organization. It's going to bring job satisfaction. It's going to motivate people. It's going to help in business planning. Except this, what all things do you think play a very important role, and that is important in business communication? What are things which you cannot do or which you can improve by coordinating? Sorry, by communicating. What are those things? Give me some examples. You can give the example from your day-to-day life also. Don't you think that coordination is important for functioning of the enterprise? Is it important for functioning? If the people want to work, if the people are working together, then for that coordination is required. No, even for managing them, for making them work, for for achieving the desired goals and objective everywhere, the coordination is important. Coordination, and how we get coordination from communication. Can you tell me any one thing where without communication we can get the things done? Any field, any sector. Like if I talk about manufacturing unit, there do we need to communicate with each other, because all the work is going to be done by either the individual or the machinery. So let's take an example of the manufacturing unit where everything is done by machinery. So there, do we need to communicate with each other? Like everything is getting done by machinery only. So what do you think?
Ma'am, if there is a automatic AI, then communication is not required.
Okay, there's communication not required. Okay. What about others? What do you think?
Ma'am, to operate the machines also we should communicate, no, ma'am.
Yes, yes, perfectly right. That to operate them, Abhishek, what you said was right. But at some level, you'll have to communicate, no, in the enterprise. No matter you are having a manufacturing unit, but you will be selling out your items, right? You'll be giving out your items to someone, either to the distributor or to the wholesaler. You will be giving, right? So how you're going to give that? Without communicating, can you work with them?
No, ma'am.
Then, no matter how automatic things are, no matter how technology advancement is there, but ultimately we will have to communicate with each other, right? It is very important. If we see from our organizational view, if we see from a personal view, think staying silent, staying quiet always gives a silent yes answer. But if it's a no, you need to communicate, you need to say that. So for example, if today I'm asking you that let's go out for a party tonight, right? You have to communicate it. I have communicated, but at least you need to communicate by the response. You cannot say that my answer is no, so why should I tell you? If you are not going to say, then for me what I am going to assume is that okay, when someone is not speaking, when the person is quiet, that means it is the silent acceptance which he or she is giving, right? That's what only I'm going to think. So communication is important for avoiding all these type of situations. In the manufacturing unit, no matter, no doubt that everything is being done by the machines only. But at the end product, for selling the end product, for distributing the end product, they will have to communicate with the suppliers. They'll have to communicate with the clients. So again, so again, the communication will enter in the organization. Employee promotion, you can say that, ma'am, for employee promotion, we are just giving incentives, rewards. So what's the use of communication? At least you'll have to communicate that person. No, you'll have to tell that person that yes, your performance was great, you did this good job, these all the things were good about you. You'll have to describe, you'll have to say something about that person. And when you are saying something about that person, automatically you are using communication to explain that thing, describe that person, to praise that person, to recognize that person, right? When we are taking decision, communication is entering. Without communication, we cannot decide anything. Planning, we cannot plan, because in planning you have to talk about some from your seniors, from the person who are already experienced, that when it was you, how did you manage to do that, what all strategies you have adopted. We'll be talking to them. You'll be talking to people for the current market trend. You'll be discussing among yourself. You'll be coming to the final decision. You'll be selecting the best final output. So all these things require communication. So in business or in personal life, communication is needed at each and every part, every second of our life, right? So these were the 5 importance of business communication. In the next session, we will be discussing about another 7 importance, which are another 8 importance of business communication, why it is important. So we are done with this session now. Exactly at 3:20, after 10 minutes, we are going to start with our next session, that is group discussion. And in group discussion, we will be discussing about the group things, group evaluation process, like when you're working in the group, when you're presenting, when you're being a part of group discussion, how they evaluate you, what all skills they check in you when you're working in a group. So that will start exactly after 10 minutes. So have your break, get back by 3:20. Bye bye, take care.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye. Welcome.